Misfits 11 is going down this Friday. I thought it was going to be Saturday, November 18th, but it's actually going down November 17th, which happens to be on Friday. So, of course, I got to put in my fight predictions so you guys can see who I think would win. And, of course, it gives you the opportunity to let me know in the comments who you think would win and by how. So, the card kicks off with Dapper Laughs taking on Simple Simon. And from what I've seen, I know Simple Simon had a fight before. I'm pretty sure it was against Ed Matthews in a fight where he got knocked out. The guy looks a lot older to be in this influencer boxing scene. So I'm just not sure how he's going to do. I did see some, training and sparring footage from Dapper Laughs. So the guy looks like he's taking this very, very serious. I haven't really seen much from Simple Simon. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. So for this one, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Y'all let me know in the comments below which one of these guys do you think is going to take it, because I have no idea. And I could say the exact same for the next fight on this card, Adam Brooks taking on Rhino. And I haven't really seen any footage from either guy either. So I'm not sure who is going to take this one. Y'all let me know in the comments about this one again. Who are you rocking with, or who you think is going to take this one? So now after that, I feel like this fight should be a little bit higher on this card. I'm surprised this is this low, because both of these guys are among some of the most technical boxers in influencer boxing. Uncle Pizza and Yuddy Gang, the rematch. Uncle Pizza did take the win in the last fight. I remember it was a really close fight, really technical fight. I remember watching it. I was like, man, these guys actually look really good. And then Yuddy Gang came back in that tag team fight with iPop and taking on Dean the Great and Wally Sharks. And Yuddy Gang was piecing guys up in there, especially Dean the Great. Yuddy Gang was touching Dean up in there. So I was like, man, this guy is a real contender for that title. And now after Dean the Great, demolished Wally Sharks in their last fight, we need to see who is going to stick out as the next contender. So hopefully this fight, whoever wins, they should be what's next for Dean the Great. But for this one, I know I watched the last fight and Uncle Pizza did win, but I think I'm going to pick Yuddy Gang. I think Yuddy Gang looked really good in his last outing, and the guy looks slick. He looks technical. He looks fast. I think now that he got a look at Uncle Pizza's style and how he fights, I think he's going to adjust. He's going to fight a better fight. So I'm picking Yuddy Gang to win this one. Next up is Arms taking on Minicon, and it says for the Misfits Boxing Heavyweight Eliminator, so I'm guessing whoever wins this one is going to be taking on Tempo Arts for the heavyweight strap. And the last time they fought, if I remember correctly, I think Arms won, and he won in that fight, and he had to be stretchered out. So regardless of winning, he had to be stretchered out. If I remember correctly, it was that fight. So for this one, it's been a while, and Arms hasn't been that active. He looked pretty good in his last fight, but Minicon has been far more active. So this one is going to be a little bit tough to try to predict, because for the cardio and the conditioning aspect, I would have to go with Minicon. But if someone were to get knocked out, I think Arms would be the one walking away with a KO. So this is tough to pick, but I'm going to gamble a little bit. I'm going to pick Arms. I'm going to pick Arms. Minicon, he talks a big game, but when he gets in there, he struggles with these guys, and he has a hard time actually taking these guys out. He also gasses out himself. So I think Arms, I like Arms' chances. I think the power is on his side. I think the aggression is going to be on his side. So I'm going to go with Arms. Next up, we got Gabriel Silva making a quick return. He's taking on OJ Rose. So this one is actually going to be pretty damn good. I expect Gabriel Silva to win, and I'm picking him to win. But definitely a good step up in competition. I would like Silva to fight someone a little bit more, like a little bit better in competition. But OJ Rose isn't that bad in this scene. He really isn't. So it is a step up, which is what you like to see. And to be honest, what I'm thinking they might be doing, because we all know Slim is going to have a hard time finding an opponent now, because I don't know who the hell is going to want to fight him. So if Gabriel Silva walks away with a win here, should we see a fight between him and Slim? That'd be a very good fight and a good main event that you could main event or co-main event of a pay-per-view. I'm sure a lot of people would be willing to see that. Gabriel Silva's got the whole crowd of Brazil. Also, if he gets Anderson Silva to back him a little bit, that's going to be a big crowd from Brazil to come watch him fights. And as we've seen from the Winterson Nunes and Julie Polka, who's also fighting on this card, they bring a big crowd with them. So having someone like Gabriel Silva is a pretty big name that could bring a lot of eyes to the sport of influencer boxing. But for this fight, yes, I am going with Gabriel Silva. I think he's too long. I think he does carry a lot of power, and I think he's going to be too experienced for OJ Rose. I think he has a lot of tools that he didn't really get to show in his last fight, because you could tell he didn't really take it serious because he knew his opponent wasn't that much of a threat. And even in there, you could tell he was just too calm. He didn't really have any danger coming his way. So I think he has a lot of tools that we haven't seen from him yet in a boxing ring. In the co-main event, Julie Polka taking on Elena Vampira for the Misfits Boxing Women's Cruiserweight Championship. Now, I've seen Elena's last fight, and man, I was actually pretty impressed. The girl's aggressive. She's not afraid of a fight. She is not afraid of a fight, and neither is Julie Polka. So this should be a fun one. Plus, I've been seeing a lot. Elena has been talking a lot of shit out there. She has been. She's coming to this fight seeming very, very confident, and I like that, because someone like Julie can be pretty intimidating, especially by the way that she fights. So for this co-main event, I gotta go with Julie Polka. She's just been the more consistent fighter. She's been fighting a lot more recently. And I think that style, that kind of aggressive style, Julie Polka carries a lot of power in those hands. So I think that aggressive style might get the better of Elena Vampira. I think Julie Polka might get her up out of there, or it's going to be a crazy fight where two girls are going to come to bang. But I think this fight is actually going to emulate similar to the Julie Polka and the Elbrook fight. We thought Elbrook was going to come forward and fight this war where she's going to constantly come forward and be this marauder like she always is. But even she had to shy away to catching that power. Once you get in the ring, it's another story. So I think once Julie puts that power on her, puts that, those combinations on her, I think she might shy away a little bit, but we'll see. Let's see. I'm expecting a good fight between these two ladies. And then the main event of the evening, Jarvis versus BDave for the Misfits Boxing Welterweight Championship. For this fight, I'm actually happy for BDave, man. The guy came out of nowhere. He was known as the guy on the Fusi video where, he was getting hit in the stomach with the stick and, he quit or whatever. He looked like he hurt, and then Fusi came over looking like a badass, So, and now he's actually making a name for himself, and now he's a main event on a Misfits card. So, I'm sure he's going to get paid. So shout out to BDave, man. You did that shit. His last fight, he went out there and earned it. A lot of people were counting him out, including me. I was even down him a little bit there in that last tag team fight. I was like, man, BDave is the weakest link, and he ended up being the best one in there, having the biggest moments by far. Very impressive, and without a doubt, that performance definitely earned him this fight. So much deserved, much earned. But this fight is definitely one of those fights where one shot can change everything. A big overhand from BDave can hurt Jarvis, wobble him, maybe drop him. If he eats those shots, as we all know, Jarvis likes to come forward. He does take some damage. He does eat some shots to try to land his. So if BDave can land that money shot, Jarvis can be in some serious trouble. But Jarvis has some really body work. He's going to test that body of BDave. And I think if Jarvis lands the right shot at the right time on the body of BDave, he could send him down to a knee and possibly get him up out of there. This fight raises a lot of questions because we don't really know how either guy is going to look in this one. I'm still not sure if BDave just looks good in these tag team fights, or if he can also repeat that type of performance in these solo matches. So because of that, I am going to be picking Jarvis as the winner for this fight. I think Jarvis has the better technique, better combinations, better footwork, better head movement, just an all-around better fighter technique-wise. I think BDave, his best chances are to land those big shots and be aggressive. Don't be overly aggressive because you don't want to tire out too quickly, but have those spurts where you get a little bit aggressive. Someone like Gervonta Davis does a really good job at this. You went from seeing him being a wild, crazy type of fighter to now he's really calculated. He takes his time in there, and then he has these spurts where he explodes and he catches you with a big shot. So I think BDave should do something similar. Take your time, relax, then explode with a big shot, try to catch him off guard. Whereas Jarvis, I'd like to see a lot of head movement, a lot of footwork. Do not stand stationary against a guy like BDave who carries that power. You do not want to be stationary. Utilize that movement, go in and go out. You can get in close on him since BDave is naturally the bigger guy. You can get in close, rip to that body, come back upstairs with those combinations. I expect a lot of uppercuts, a lot of hooks, a lot of inside work from Jarvis. Make the fight dirty, but don't make it too dirty. Make sure you stay on your P's and Q's, stay on your guard, get in, get out. Don't stay in the middle against someone like BDave who's going to be winging that power at you. I expect this to be a really good fight, and I can't wait to watch it November 17th. Feel free to let me know in the comments who you are rocking with. As always, I thank you all so much for the support, and I'll catch you in the next video.